the river is still there, floating downstream. Water flows through the river, but the river is still there, floating downstream. Floating downstream. Floating downstream. Sleep passes through the dream, but the dream is still there, floating downstream. Sleep passes through the dream, but the dream is still there, floating downstream. Floating downstream. Floating downstream. Floating downstream. Floating downstream.
We're now in a place called Chinook Tru, which is in Boriboh district of Kampong Chhnang province in Cambodia. And Chinook Tru is really near towards the confluence of the Tonle Sap River and the Tonle Sap Lake proper. And this is a great learning arena for geographers, whether they're physical or human geographers, because you can really see the connections between hydrology and social life. You can see the importance of water and water levels at different times of year and the way of life of the people in this part of Cambodia.
So for this field investigation, homestays are a very important part of the whole experience, because students from both Singapore and Cambodia, most of them have not been to the Tonle Sap and they have not experienced how life is like on the floating community. So for them to, if they really want to learn about how life is like on the floating community, the best way to do it is to live on one.
Daniel. Hello, good morning. My name is Daniel, and I'm one of the honored guests to be staying at this homestay that you can't see behind you. Staying in this house is a very interesting experience. It's something that is out of the world. You wake up and you see water everywhere. You see trees that you only see the top of the trees. And living here, I've eaten so many weird foods that I never thought could be eaten. There are snails, there are raw prawns. Living here is also a very interesting experience because there are boats all around, and you can hear on the background everywhere people get around in boats. People sell things on boats. People come to you selling fruits. All the shops are on boats, and when the waves come, your house moves with the waves. My fieldwork with my groupmates have been focusing on children, and we are looking at what do children aspire to and what do they hope for living in Chinook Tru, in this village that is floating on water. It's a very interesting experience and very interesting life that they live, a very different life from how I live my life. For example, if they do not know how to swim, they cannot go to school.
Now let me introduce you about our homestay.
When we step into the house, first thing you'll see is the communal area. So this is the place where we sleep and we eat. So just this morning we had our breakfast with Mr. Chuning here. Yeah, and last night we set up our sleeping mat around here. Yeah.
And for the dinner, this place is for our dinner. We eat in this place and move to our toilet. changing our clothes and also take a bath last night. This is our toilet and this is our kitchen. We sit there and make a cook and prepare our ingredients there, and then we cook in that. Yeah, that's all. This is our food today. Now we
Sit down. Sit down.
I thought I can end it.
Floating downstream, floating downstream.
As far as field studies is concerned, this is probably the most exciting as it can get for the students. We are in a community here that is very different from Singapore, a community that is defined by water, and water impacts almost every single aspect of their daily lives. So it's a really exciting playground for the students, especially in doing field work and talking to people, getting their interviews done, and just observing how different life is. And it's also particularly nice as a place to do ethnography, simply because of the very unique context that people are living in here. And I think in addition to the excitement, it's also very challenging. It requires students to go outside their comfort zones, to do things that they might not be comfortable with doing initially. But at the same time, it's also a great way for them to grow, not only as researchers, but also as students and also as people who are interested in helping the community and making their research more applied.
Okay, Carl, so we are here. So can you tell where we are and what we are doing
Sure.
at the moment?
Right now, we're here at this point.
Here.
So this is interesting because you can see this zone here. This is actually a conservation area for the Irrawaddy dolphin, which has been affected by many upstream and downstream activities on the Mekong River. And the students who are coming here have come over from the Cambodian side. So they come by boat across here. And because they've come by boat, they're actually living on the Cambodian side, but they're for a while working on the Laos side, on this island. So I believe that this is a very fascinating thing for them. They're learning about cross-border movements. They're learning about trans-border cooperation. They're also learning about flows which come across the border here. And so, although the field investigation we have is set in Cambodia, they're also learning quite a lot about the Laos side of the border at this point. So this map is fascinating because it's actually a cross-border space. But you have Lao islands in the Mekong and you have Cambodian islands in the Mekong. But you also have the Mekong River, which is going through, has many arms in this area, or braids. It's a very braided river. And if you look, there are also waterfalls. And there's also very shallow waters here where there's a lot of rapids. So actually the channels, the geography, and everything around here, there's a lot to learn about the interactions between the physical space, the water, and the human populations living on either side.
flows through the river, but the river is still there, floating downstream.
One of the reasons we're here today on Grundy-Warr Island in Khmer, or Langa in Laos, is to find out about island life in the middle of the Mekong River. Actually, field investigation is all about learning soft skills, developing soft skills, because it entails understanding new situations, meeting new people, and also working in a cross-cultural environment. Where better to do that than on an island in the middle of the Mekong? This island is actually belonging to Cambodia, but it's so close to the Laos border. And many of the people here on this island speak Lao rather than Khmer, or they have both Lao and Khmer connections.
I think apart from going out of the classroom and immersing yourself in a very new culture, I think some of the soft skills that are very important for such studies is actually the communication. So it's not just communication with, let's say, our Cambodian buddies, it's also communications with people you want to interview, people you want to find out information from. And I think there is a certain skill set that you need to have to be able to retrieve the information that you want. So let's say you can't just directly ask your question straight out to the host. You actually have to start off, get to know them, let them get comfortable with you before you ask probably the more deeper questions that you are trying to find out. So I think this is one of the very important skills that staying in a classroom will not teach you. Yeah.
So the power of this kind of pedagogy is that you can't learn this purely from books, because books and articles, they do not contain the information that is needed. You actually have to do in-place interviews and observations in order to be able to feel this situation here, to understand the people who live here, and also to get a sense of what the border means to people on both sides.
Water flows through the river, but the river is still there, floating downstream.
I highly recommend field investigation, as you will definitely leave with a broader worldview after interacting with peers from local universities and speaking to the local communities, as long as you're willing to put aside your preconceived notions.
I think the experience of doing research is really very invaluable. When we listen to our lecturers speak or when we read papers, our arguments are shaped by these academics. Instead, like when we are able to go out in the field, we can experience it for ourselves, and our arguments are original, they're not rehashed. So that's why I truly think that field research is an important module for everyone.
As a geography students, we are used to doing readings and watching documentaries. However, nothing beats a first-hand experience, seeing everything we have learned so far coming to life in front of our eyes. For me personally, it was also a reminder that on-the-ground situations are not always the same as what we read about on paper. This is definitely the most memorable module for me throughout my 4 years in NUS, and I'm sure everyone should have the chance to take one of these modules.
Not only do I learn good and deep fieldwork in geography, there are important life skills that we learn that can help us outside of school, such as being able to adapt to unfamiliar conditions, empathizing with people, building rapport and getting to know new people, and along the way building valuable friendships. These are important key soft skills that can allow us to venture successfully beyond Singapore and into this part of the world.
And at the end of the day, we at NUS brand ourselves as a department that works globally, that gives its students a lot of exposure beyond the classroom. And this kind of engagement within the Southeast Asian region is very complementary in making our students not only academically more proficient in geography, but also making them more aware of the conditions in which people live in this region, as well as in getting them to think about how they can contribute to solving problems faced by people beyond academia. Thank you.
Field investigation is really important and provide many benefits to me. However, I would like to raise up only 3 important parts that really importance in my academic life and also my careers. Firstly is to develop my English skill and also to build up new friends. Second, it's led me to explore the new environment with exploring the new cultures and the living condition from the side. Lastly, the investigation is also helped me to develop my problem solving, communication skill and leadership. I'm sure that when you go to the site, it is the realities that you face and you deal it. So I really support and encourage Cambodian students to join with the international student in field investigation if you have the chance. Thank you.
This cooperation have brought us very significant contribution to the study of the student, especially they will understand how important the Great Lake, or in short, or the other way we call Tonle Sap, and the Mekong to the livelihood of Cambodian people as well as the region and the world.